I actually bought Nike here. Again, people can look at TSOH to know the exact date. I think it was a few months ago now. For the first time, I've been following it for a long time, but I bought it for the first time. I think it's reached a point on the valuation and on the trajectory of that turnaround to where I think we're past most of the pain, with the most prominent example being they've kind of electively taken away $4 billion of revenues from their classic footwear franchises, where they got way over their skis in terms of how much supply was out in the marketplace. And that $4 billion is relative to a base of, I believe it's on the order of $25 billion a year in footwear revenues. So it became very material in terms of the impact on the business. And obviously going backwards, they've definitely felt that pain. That coincided with tariffs and issues they're dealing with in Nike China. The P&L is basically imploded from where it used to be. But I think a lot of it's addressable, and I think it's cheap enough now to justify owning here, at least at a call it starting waiting. I think On's really interesting as well. It's funny, the growth has been very impressive. Call it like in the mid-20s% annualized range, I believe, over the past couple years. When I first wrote it up, I mentioned it in that piece. I think it was 2 or 3 years ago now that I first wrote it up. The stock hasn't gone anywhere. The results have been good. I think the market is somewhat tentative about what the path looks like going forward for that business, and this tough question in athletic apparel, and it harkens back to what I was saying on UA a moment ago, which went through a very similar issue. You probably remember it was a super hot stock in early to mid 2010s. And then the bottom kind of fell out as distribution and the brand got out of whack with where it kind of needed to be. And then they built too much of the infrastructure for the size of the business. And they've been in some form of kind of rectifying that for at least the past 5 years. So it's a business where you really have to be thoughtful about how quickly you grow, where you grow. How do you deal with inevitable periods of excess inventory? Do you burn the product? Do you sell it at a discount in the channel and potentially hurt your brand? There's tough decisions to be made, and it requires a lot of working capital as well. Yeah, it's funny. I think I concluded in the on piece. I said basically, if I had to pick a side, I lean towards this being something I'd be willing to own and the price being reasonable enough. That said, Nike is such a new position for me that I kind of want to be thoughtful about how quickly I'm moving into this space, and there's also there's things going on in a couple different players as well, and I don't think it's unfathomable that a number of them hit a difficult point at the same time. So wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to own both of them if they got cheaper, but I try to be really thoughtful about to the question before about some of these things and kind of like risk management and stuff. That's the kind of stuff I tend to be really thoughtful about in terms of the timing of at least layering on very similar bets at the end of the day. So, yeah, I'm curious if you have any thoughts as a consumer, investor, or otherwise.